we were talking to Agaji on the reforms which in his opinion are very vital to Pakistan's character of a state that is based on Islamic ideology. Now, the subject is very wide and it cannot fit in one program. Sir, we'll come to now the books that you have authored. They are basically on economics matters, and can you tell us something about...
Well, I mean, I'll be very brief about this. The first book was called The First Feelers. It's a book of about 1,000 observations on a variety of subjects in life.
On national and economic matters?
No, it is on basically on life's observations.
Life, okay.
The second book was called A Rendezvous with Destiny, a copy of which I'm seeing here.
Like here.
And this was more on sociological dimensions that inflict society, particularly ours, here in Pakistan, and the course forward. The third book is called The Decisive Edge, which was the economic model which should be implemented or should be considered for implementation in an ideally country called Islamic Republic, because it carries recipes which are in consonance of Islam, although they are contrary to the Western pattern of economic management of states.
So did you send those Decisive Edge to the universities where economics is taught as a subject?
Yes,
and to your own...
The Berks University offered me a doctorate, which I turned down, because ideally I would have preferred the doctorate to have come from a Pakistani university, because it was for this country that I had written that book. The last book was called, What is this thing called religion, for God's sake? That has not been circulated yet. But these are the 4 books. Recently, as you are aware, I mean, I presented my thesis on reforms that ought to take place in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. And this is all in addition to whatever writing by way of my contribution, which I owe to society.
Sir, I mean, these books should have been particularly Decisive Edge, which talks of the economy of a Islamic society or a country or a group of country. Shouldn't you have circulated this to other countries like Malaysia,
so
Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, or some other,
The method of recording any scripture in Pakistan is that you send it across to the National Book Foundation, and they register it and they acknowledge it. And from there, the books are sent out for circulation or distribution. I did send copies of these books to whom I thought are pertinent within the intelligentsia in Pakistan, or perhaps the ruling elite in Pakistan, some accommodations. But that was about all. I've never gone to make it into a business, but perhaps it should have been more widely circulated.
I mean, like say you have held these seminars just to arouse awareness in maybe a selective lot of people. I've attended all those seminars, and in case somebody is to use your economic model, for example, maybe you need a political party, maybe you need a religious party, maybe somewhere else. I mean, I want something short of a bloody revolution when people rise and, they demand their own rights by force, like it happened in so many countries, where there was a massive loss of human life and, total changeover of the system, and then a long period to establish the new. In military terms, we say that it is very difficult to put a new idea in a military mind, and it is even more difficult to take out the old one. So these are the matters of our lives and our faiths and beliefs, and we want to achieve excellence, as we have heard for the last 1400 years from the Holy Book.
So my submission is that when the Quran comes to defining a revolution, it says the deliverance of a message followed by blood. The message has already been delivered to us by Allah. It is obligatory upon us to research constantly and find the right recipes for our times. And this again is subject to evolution. It will change tomorrow. and the day after. So there is no bigotry which needs to be owned, adopted, and be retained forever. So we don't need a political party. We do not need any sort of revolution per se. The message is there. Researchers like myself, like yourself, like so many other people in this country, which is very rich in human resource, should bring to fore what they have been able to find by way of their research. And ideally, it is from within the people that change will come about. The notion that we should just pick up a gun and go shooting people to implement a thought, because nobody's thought is perfect. I mean, there are people who think that, all right, I need to impose my ideology on somebody else. The Quran is very clear on that. There is no compulsion on anybody. You can't enforce
So now,
it.
as I said, we will have to do another program with you on this subject. It's so wide and very interesting, and so many things to learn. For this particular episode, I mean, what legacy would you like to leave behind, and you know, what do you have in mind, and you know?
If you reflect on human history, all those people who have given something to society have lived and are living as heroes of human history. And those who have taken away from human history, from society, are living as zeros in human history. The legacy I'd like to see for myself is the very, very small contribution I'm making from whatever Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala has given me. Whether it is by way of education, by way of exposure, by way of wealth. The more you give,
The more he gives.
the more He gives, yes, but that is your legacy. That is how you are remembered. So I do what I can.
Sir, it has been a pleasure and our honor to have you had here for this talk, and we'll like to continue on this subject again. And now, as a memento of your visit to our show, kindly accept this, and this will remind you of your presence with us.
Thank you very much for having me on Abid Live Rostrum Show. Much obliged.
Now, sir, as a practice, we would request you to write down your name as one of the visitors to our show.
Thank you very much. All right. You want me to sign my name?
Yes, on top.